People have ignored commodities again, but don't worry, they'll be back, especially if we keep printing money the way we're printing money. Economies keep collapsing. Nobody can go to work. Now, that cuts demand, but it also cuts supply eventually, and if they keep printing money, the demand will be there.
Jim, it is indeed a volatile times we are living in right now. Layoffs, people afraid of recession, losing their job, inflationary fears. If I had to ask you 3 tips for investors watching right now.
Watch Stansberry Research.
1.
Watch Danielle own Stansberry Research.
Every day.
Watch it whenever you can. 2, learn about gold and silver, because gold and silver are probably going to go into maybe even a period of maybe a mania even. I hope not, because I don't want to have to sell my gold and silver, but you should learn about it. And you should learn about what's happening in the world. Danielle, I am always startled at how few people are aware of what's happening. You know, the United States is the largest debtor nation in the world by many factors, and we keep adding staggering amounts of money to our debt. This has always ended badly. I mean, it's not just the US, the Japanese, oh my gosh, those guys, the head of the Bank of Japan goes to work every morning early, cranks up the printing presses, prints as fast as he can. He wants to print unlimited, that's his net worth, unlimited amounts of money, and buy stocks and bonds and ETFs. I mean, this is going to end very, very badly when it ends.
So going back to what you're saying about educating yourself, does that still ring true today for you?
Some people will watch a TV show and think they know something, think they have learned and understand, or they will read a book and think they understand what's going on. No, I hate to say it, Danielle, I've been investing a long time, and I'm still, to this day, shocked at how little people know, much less how little they understand about the world, about money, and about investing. Daniela, there is an election coming up, and all the people in Washington will do anything they can to get reelected. Democrats, everybody, that's their job. But in the meantime, politicians all over the world are doing their best, and central bankers all over the world are doing their best to keep this madness going.
Considering gold's at all-time highs now, and based on what you've taught me before, are you buying gold?
I bought a little bit today, just so tiny it's not even worth mentioning. I bought a little more silver today, but I plan to buy a lot more gold and silver over the next year or 2.
You know, one thing I've noticed during this pandemic, Jim, is I think a lot of people have a lot more time. They're at home and they're thinking a lot about many more things. And one thing they're looking at is their dollar bills and thinking, what is the real value behind this? Do you think that more people are embracing or wanting to learn more about alternative assets like Bitcoin, like gold?
Yes, of course, but not nearly enough. I mean, very few people. Gold is down 10% already from its all-time highs. So most people do not have a clue. Most people want their congressman to spend more money for them. That's unfortunately the way most people think, and they don't understand the consequences. I mean, Daniela, it's a wonderful time to be old in North America. Young people have a bleak future. I have 2 teenage children. Oh my gosh, what the world that they're inheriting 5 years from now, 10 years from now, somebody's going to say, wait a minute, look at all this debt. What do we do about all this debt? Try to look and watch and see. You know, most people go to Las Vegas and say, oh my gosh, look at that. But I have learned, no matter where I am, whether it's Paris or whatever, Brooklyn, anywhere, to try to just look and observe. You may not see anything, but if you see something, and if you're being attentive, if you have your antenna open so that you can see, who knows what you're going to see. You might see something that's significant, or you might see some change. The most important thing that I look for is change. You don't see it very often, but when you do, Daniela, you should think about it and act and do research.
Jim, can we expect a new book from you anytime soon?
Another one's coming out right now as we speak. Basically what the book says, what they say is, well, one is called A Warning to Japan. And basically what I'm saying, Japan is the third largest economy in the world, but the population has been declining for 10 years. That's not a typo, 10 years decline. The debt has been skyrocketing every day. And Japan, I mean, if you're 10 years old in Japan, what are you going to do when you're 40 years old and not going to be anybody left in Japan? The debt's going to be skyrocketing, going through the roof. They won't have babies. They don't like foreigners, so they let in very, very few immigrants. No, Japan is in a serious, serious problem, and it is the third largest economy in the world as we speak.